Hello everyone, it is Social Club time. Ped joins me to talk about the problems at West Ham United in a moment. But first, because, let's be honest, we're not just going to have a show where we let Ped run riot about West Ham. We've got Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV to give his take on where things aren't going well for West Ham United.
So what's going on at West Ham? I really don't know how to answer that. It's such a difficult one. We're kind of in limbo. We're 4 games into the season only. But there seems to be the same just deep-rooted issues with the mentality and the culture in the team. And it was just evident against Wolves on Saturday. I mean, that performance was disgraceful, to be honest with you. Those players have let the fans down, they've let the manager down. I mean, you could see it, just a complete lack of effort and desire. You have players not looking up, just putting aimless balls, crossing balls in the box, and then the other players not making any attempt to get on the end of it. People jogging around, you know, and just standing off of players and giving players too much space. I mean, Pellegrini wants to play this sort of high pressing game, win the ball back in midfield and attack. But if the players aren't pressing, then how is that system going to work? He has his system he wants to play, and the players are just blatantly not putting it into practice. It's just the pure laziness is outrageous. And that sort of thing, I mean, if you'd seen Match of the Day, Alan Shearer summed it up perfectly and called him out. And watching that back, I was at the game, but watching it back on there, it was just horrific. We have some great attacking talent, we really do, but we have hardly scored any goals. And that just, to me, comes from a lack of effort, a lack of communication, understanding between the players. I honestly don't know, and I think that, like, a lot of the signings, I haven't got a problem with the signings. They've shown flashes of what they can do. The 2 centre backs look good. We've seen positives against Arsenal. For a lot of that game, we were the better team, and now it's like we roll up at home, and we're just pathetic. We've got a serious problem performing at home. It's not to say we've been great away so far this season in the 2 games, but it was Liverpool and Arsenal. But home, we seem to have a problem performing at that stadium, and I'm not going to blame the stadium, but I just don't know what it is. But still, it's still too early. We've got to look, see what happens 10 games in. And it still feels like he don't know what his best 11 is. Like, we're constantly seeing players dropping in and dropping out. You know, Masuaku was dropped for Creswell, who was awful. And then you'll have, like, Hernandez will start one week, then he'll start with one up top. So it's like we're still figuring out the system, but I'm just fed up. I'm fed up of things never going our way. And we just finally need something to sing about and being able to enjoy our football. You know, it's been horrendous ever since we moved here. And I'm just hoping things improve, honestly.
So there you go, yeah. Look, I don't like seeing the West Ham Fan TV lads not happy, regardless of my thoughts or feelings towards West Ham, and to be perfectly honest, I'm really indifferent. No. I mean, like, I don't dislike West Ham. I'm not got a big soft spot for them or anything. I had to see the lads after Liverpool beat them first game of the season, and like Nicky and Ryan, and it just looks so down and so dejected. And it's funny how it happens in footy, doesn't it? Where you have a season, you go through pre-season, optimism is so high. It can't, not quite the same, but you had a little bit of that last year.
It's called the Everton paradox.
Yeah,
it's when you try and be better and then ruin it all,
end up worse.
And ruin it all. Essentially what they've done. They've tried to change things too quickly. David Moyes, for everything people say about him, had, for me, got them to a level at the end of last season where they were quite stable. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have moved away from David Moyes, but what I'm saying is that whoever came in should have started from where he left off, and just kept the stability. And I think I'm not saying you don't make all the signings, but maybe you introduce them into the side a little bit slower and keep that continuity so it's running through the team. And I think what they've done, and again, I go back to what Everton did 12 months ago, the classic mistake is trying to introduce too many players at once to a new system. So everybody's adjusting. The old players are adjusting to a new system and a new way of playing, and all the new players have to come in and adjust to it. And it creates this perfect storm where it'll take you a few games to get going. But because West Ham are the way they are, and because there has been money spent, and because there's problems prior, everyone's going to jump on it. Because let's be honest, the owners are horrible, horrible people, and who wants to like them? Nobody wants to like them. So, and even worse, there's that awful film coming out from Dave Bautista that was done at the Bowling, which looks utter shit.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got...
Where they blow up the stadium, basically.
It looks like it's got the... It wouldn't surprise me if one day the film company went, we're looking for a stadium to blow up. Yeah, you can have ours. That's an excuse for us to move.
Yeah.
Not we've got one, we're leaving it.
And they went to it. And once you've moved out, we'll blow it up. And they're like, oh, after we've moved out. Oh, yeah, that's even better.
Let's move out. Let's move out.
That's even
Is
better.
there any free stadiums knocking about?
No, blow it up and then we'll find a new stadium. It's like, no, we'll wait till you've got a new stadium and then we'll blow it up. Oh, yeah, that sounds like, that's a much more sensible idea. No, it does look terrible, to be fair, as much as we love Batista. We talked about this on Monday's show and about the continuity factor and how that's helping Watford in a big way. Look, David Moyes is not a fit for West Ham. That's the issue they've got. I think Pellegrini is a good fit for West Ham, but what you kind of mentioned, I think is the most.
Why isn't David Moyes a fit for West Ham?
Because West Ham want to play a good brand of football.
Tough shit. What they want to play. David Moyes actually suited West Ham down to the ground. That's
horseshit.
It's not West Ham. They've got this idea that they're some super club. They're not.
All right.
And they've got this stupid.
So why didn't you just stick it out with Allardyce then?
Because Allardyce.
Because you've got delusions of being a super club as well.
Because Allardyce was just shit, just wrong football. David Moyes doesn't play. This idea that David Moyes plays bad football is utter nonsense. Everton under David Moyes played some great football. That last season under him, we played great football. That's why Manchester United.
How many years was he at Everton?
He was at Everton for 11 years.
And so one season in 11,
a lot of those seasons. No, that's nonsense. Again, that's nonsense that is brought up by people who've got no idea what they're talking about. Okay. In some games, we played in a certain manner, but not all the time.
David Moyes played a 4-5-0 for
No, he didn't.
Or
he didn't.
4-6-0
no, he didn't.
formation.
No, nonsense. Absolute.
Don't tell me Tim Cahill is a false nine, because I'm not having it.
Fucking Tim Cahill invented the false nine.
Yes. Okay.
No, he did.
No, that's fine. That's exactly what I was looking for.
When we had that team, Tim Cahill scored that many goals. That what we had up front was a runner. And actually, when we started having good strikers, it actually went against the team perversely. This idea that David Moyes is a bad manager is utter bollocks. I think they should have kept him in a job for another year just to get a little bit more stability and then maybe moved on for him. I just think the changes, the guy they've brought in, how is he any better? I know he won a league at Man City, but he had all the money in the world to win 4 leagues at Man City.
Look, let's just flip this on its head, because their summer was very, very similar to your summer. They've gone out with a manager they didn't really get on with. They weren't totally down with the style of it. They probably should have been. There were probably more people happy with David Moyes than there were people happy with Sam Allardyce at Everton, to be fair. But you just twisted. You just spun again. Why weren't they right to do the same? To get a manager with a better football and ideology and go and spend better players?
I'm not saying they weren't right. I just think that what the extremes that they've gone from, the guy they've brought in, I don't rate either. And I just think that West Ham.
Why don't you rate Man?
Because I just don't think he's that good a manager. I think at Man City, I know he won a league at Man City, but he had all the riches, and I think he won 1 out of 4. I don't think and then he chased them. I don't think he's that good a coach. I don't think he necessarily fits West Ham. That's what I'm saying. I think Moyes was a better fit. I'm not saying that they should have kept him. I'm just saying that the situation is. I think it's slightly different from Everton. I think all the tools were there at Everton. I think we've got better senior players at Everton as well than West Ham. I don't think West Ham have got enough good senior players they can rely on. In fact, I think they got rid of a decent one in James Collins. I'm not saying he's a great footballer. I just think he's a good presence to have round. That's why they love Noble. And whatever anyone thinks about Noble, he understands that club. And I don't think they've got enough of those people. And I think if you haven't got enough of those people, you need someone in charge who is in charge. And I don't think they've got that at the moment. But another thing that I would say is that the continuity, as I'll go back to, we've bought a lot of players. We've hardly seen any of them yet. Yeah. We've only early introduced a couple of those players we've signed. There is a level of continuity from last season. And that's what's made Evertonians a little bit more optimistic, is because...
There's levels to go up.
Yeah, because it's pretty much the same team, plus Richarlison, and the style is completely different, and you watch it and go, this is well better. But can West Ham fans say that?
I wonder whether the issue they've got is that, well, not the issue per se, because Dan talks about the work rate on the pitch, and that's massive. And I don't know that I don't want to put all the blame square at the feet of Jack Wilshere, but I don't think you go from being at Arsenal when I don't think you're under Wenger, where you're not expected to tear around and you're not expected to have loads of fight, where you're expected to be technically good. I don't think he sets the tone for the midfield. I think he needs all those people around him. Don't get me wrong, he was badly positioned when they played against us. They pushed him too far up the field, which I don't think is right for him. I don't know where Jack Wilshere's best position is, what I'm driving at. For years he's been lauded as his DM. I think he's missed his day as when you can just have a pure creative defensive midfielder. They had that little spell where Carrick did it, Gerrard did it, etc., etc. Now you need to be an athlete, you need to have great vision, you need to be able to get around the pitch, so we can't do that. He's a bit, and then has he got the legs to be the shuttling role in midfield? If you're playing three in midfield, you need to have one who does the defensive work, you need to have one guy who carries the water between, and you have one more offensive guy in there, and I don't think he fits any of them. And I say, in addition to that, I don't think anyone, I think he's a very, very talented footballer. But look at Oxlade-Chamberlain, came younger, by the way, as well, coming to Liverpool. It took him 6 months to adapt to a higher press, a higher work rate thing. I'm not sure whether, have they bought players who mentally fit the bill of what's being asked for them, or have they done, and it's kind of what you did a little bit under Koeman, have you gone, we've got money, who can we get for this money, who's the best player we can buy for our money, and not worried about how they fit in. And I wonder whether maybe there's a little bit too much of that at West Ham, and maybe you're better off. When we talked about Watford yesterday, who've got a collection, a gang of lads there who were all pulling in a unified direction. And no one could accuse Watford of having a better starting 11 man for man than Everton or West Ham, I don't think. No. But they're pulling in the right direction.
I look at some of the West Ham players and I don't see players who are really gonna get round the pitch for you, who are gonna leave everything on the pitch. There's just not enough of them, and there's not enough senior players either who are going to tell those players. And look at the manager. I don't think the manager inspires that kind of work rate either. So who's getting it out of them? And I think this is where I feel for the West Ham fans. The stadium, it doesn't help either. I know, it's been...
Well, Dan said he didn't want to blame it, but I've been there. I know it's been a couple of years since I've been there now, so it might be better, and it probably will be a bit better.
I don't see
it's not a fit for them.
They're too far away. They're not on top of it like they would be at Upton Park, where they get right on top of it, and they're either helping their own players, or they're having a go at the opposition. And then there's little things, and I know they sound stupid, but I heard the manager last week having a go at some fans for getting off with 10 minutes to go when they were, I think it was Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, when they were 2-1 behind. And it's things like, well, people are like, well, this is rubbish, and if I don't get off now, I'm waiting an hour to get on a train. And that's enough for people to just go, no. But that comes from going, I've seen this so many times, there's no way we're getting back into this game.
And that's a dangerous situation to be in when you're only a handful of games into the new season, because that optimism is meant to carry it over. But the problem is, looking at their upcoming fixtures now, they've got Everton away, Chelsea at home, Macclesfield in the League Cup, which should be fine, but who knows. Man United at home, Brighton away, Spurs at home. So, to take on Everton, Chelsea, United and Spurs, and look, and Brighton have been no mugs so far as well. That's,
you look at twice last season.
You could be, over a quarter of the way into the season, and I think they will pick up points on the way, because that's how footy does surprise you as it happens. But I listen to West Ham fans on the radio, and I understand why they would have no confidence, because they need to see more from that side. Pellegrini needs to go, okay, I need to get this. Look what Sarri's doing at Chelsea. He's not come in and gone, right, ripping everything up, I'm going to start again. They're largely doing stuff that they do with, put Jorginho in so you get a bit more, creativity in the midfield or whatever. There's no radical change there, and similar.
Listening to Dan, it's not a case of the football. It's not the football per se, which will come under a new manager. It sounds like it's the work rate, it's the desire, it's the passion, it's the wanting to close that player down, you know, who's 5 yards away from you in the last minute, just to make sure. You know, you look at the goal from Saturday, it's so abysmal, the pressing, and then, you know, the movement. It's awful. And they're the things, as a fan, you just say, well, what's actually changed? You've got a new manager in, it's a new season, there's new players, yet that same
everyone lauds this winning silverware and winning games and blah blah blah. The bare fundamentals we go as football fans when we go to watch our team play is I want to see the guys pulling on that shirt, dying for that shirt. That's all. Like, because if they do that, then inevitably your trust results will come. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't want a bunch of headless chickens chasing around. There has to be a plan to it. But I want to see lads go out there and play in my stead, because I can't do that. But I would love to be able to do that. We all would. But if you go out there and you're like, why aren't you running? Because, and that's where I've never liked that argument of you earn £100,000 a week, therefore, because I think it's bollocks. It never takes into account what footballers actually have to do and the sacrifices. But when the fundamental of what you do is that you go out on that match day and you turn it on a match day, and if I see players walking around not giving 110%, then you know that's. Fans have got right to kick off.
And you've got perfect examples of that in the Premier League as well. There's a couple from the weekend, the likes of Troy Deeney, the likes of Glenn Murray, right? They're the kind of players that West Ham, they're the personalities that West Ham need more than some of their signings.
Yeah, well,
they've got Zabaleta.
Well, not even Zabaleta, because he's well.
Yeah, but he's the kind of.
They've got Arnautovic, who's that kind of get in your face, turn around.
Is he though?
Well, maybe this is the problem. Against us, I've always been impressed, but I did see when the shoulders go and they slow. You can't be the only guy, particularly if you're up front. You can't be the only guy turning around. You need to see that from the guys in and around you as well. And West Ham are probably. If they want to, they need to stick with Pellegrini. They need to stick to the plan. Yeah. He needs to be. He can't be blind. He can't blindly continue something that doesn't work. They need to find a slightly more pragmatic way of working, and he needs another summer, because it's all well and good saying Felipe Anderson, and it's all well and good looking at Yarmolenko, but when they still got Robert Snodgrass in there, who was a big money signing, to be fair, and he was great for that spell for Hull leading up to it. There's still chunks missing out of that side. There's not enough joined up thinking, and that's why you can't change your manager 10 times in 10 years and expect it to be a consistent, solid performance. So work to be done.
I'll be very interested.
I think they'll be fine.
I'll be very interested to see how they approach the game against us. Do they come and go, right, we're gonna do this, or did they come a little bit like Huddersfield, who had no intentions of beating us but have no intentions of losing? Sometimes you've got to do that if you're not on a good run.
Yeah.
You know,
the problem when you've gone 4 games without a win, and then you turn to a style of football where it's backs to the wall, and you can lose that just as easily as you can get any points out of that. And then all of a sudden, you've lost 6 games, you've lost 8 games, and you've not developed your style of play yet.
What I would say about that kind of playing that kind of way, though, I'm not necessarily saying it would be against us, but it might be against somebody else, is that I think if you play like that and you play a system and everyone works hard for it, at the end of the game, as a fan, you can almost be proud that everyone stood up for the team and worked hard and had a real go, and there was a togetherness and everyone was pulling in the right direction. Whereas sometimes if you put a team out, you go, oh, we're going to win, and it's like, well, we're all just going to do it for ourselves. You can see right through that, because that's how we'd all want to play football. That's how we all want to watch football. Yeah. But sometimes you've just got to go, no, we need to tough this out. Yeah. We need to tough this out and get a result. Yeah. Maybe it's too early for that yet, but at some point those things will happen, and as a fan you can be proud of your team if you do that.
The thing is, I think footy's evolved in the last few years, and maybe it's that the Guardiola Klopp thing, or and Pochettino's in this as well, is that it's not just about skill on the ball anymore. You've got to have that fight and the tenacity to back it up. The top teams have got all the skill in the world, but they also battle like a relegation scrapping team as well. You can't just get away with just playing good footy, because the teams that are playing who've got the fight but not the skill, actually at this point now, are actually doing better than the teams that have just got the skill. If it was a case of being able to pass the ball around, and that'd be great, Swansea would still be in the Premier League. But then again, I suppose on the flip side of that, maybe old school Stoke would have stayed up before they lost their identity as well. Who knows? Let us know your thoughts then on West Ham in the comments below. Do go and check out West Ham Fan TV if you want to know more in depth than we could ever possibly provide ourselves. As we say, fan channels are here for a reason. So if you want to know all the ins and outs and all the true feelings from the West Ham fans, do go and subscribe to their channel. Subscribe to Ball Street for more. Drop a like on this video, and we'll see you again next week.